The 1-2 punch of Green Lantern and R.I.P.D. could have destroyed any other actor's career, but Ryan Reynolds bounced back in major style. A man of many talents, Ryan Reynolds flowed in and out of genres before he found his shtick as a self-aware, comedic action man. The Canadian actor's early hits included the maligned Amityville Horror and the romantic comedy Definitely Maybe. By 2011, Reynolds was ready to go all in on the world of action, cementing himself as a major player in the genre with Green Lantern. The DC flick emerged as a dud, barely grossing $220 million worldwide and making it one of the year's biggest bombs at the box office. It is a notable sore spot for Reynolds, who is set to usher in a new era for DC storytelling. Reports say that Hal Jordan's cinematic debut lost Warner Brothers around $75 million, making it one of the biggest disasters in Reynolds' career and destroying all hopes for a sequel. The actor believes the film flopped because the production focused too much on expensive special effects instead of character development. The picture was also released after films like Iron Man and The Dark Knight took the superhero genre in a new, bolder direction. Ultimately, Green Lantern felt like a relic from the past that didn't understand what viewers wanted. Naturally, critics tore the film apart too, leaving it with a 25% score on Rotten Tomatoes. Reynolds continued down the action rabbit hole in 2013, teaming up with Jeff Bridges for the supernatural action comedy R.I.P.D, which also failed to make an impression with audiences, grossing just $79 million worldwide. A buddy cop picture about deceased detectives who hunt supernatural forces, R.I.P.D. was poised to be a breezy summer blockbuster for audiences. Based on the comic book of the same name, the film was expected to be the start of a prosperous franchise, but it reportedly lost the studio over $50 million. The movie was released during an extremely crowded weekend, facing competition from The Conjuring and Despicable Me 2, which made the Men in Black-like film the least interesting picture for audiences. Word of mouth also wasn't there, as critics ripped the movie to shreds. Both Green Lantern and R.I.P.D. were major flops for Reynolds, almost emboldening the notion that the actor couldn't handle the burden of headlining a franchise. His previous franchise efforts, like X-Men Origins Wolverine and Blade Trinity, relegated him to supporting roles. But with Green Lantern and R.I.P.D., Reynolds was put front and center as a leading man for what were meant to be viable theatrical offerings. Both films flopping aren't exactly Reynolds' fault either, as they were critical misfires and widely considered among the worst films from the 2010s. Nonetheless, after his major record-breaking box office bombs, Reynolds' career as a leading man was on thin ice. Both films proved that Reynolds wasn't a big enough draw yet for audiences, and it didn't help that they were critical failures. The actor smartly pivoted to independent, smaller-budget fare, allowing himself to flex his acting chops and gain goodwill from audiences. He debuted the creepy but hilarious serial killer flick, The Voices, in 2014, and the gambling picture, Mississippi Grind, in 2015. Both films fared extremely poorly at the box office, but emerged as critical juggernauts. Reynolds' relationship with smaller, more focused productions ended with the 2016 release of Deadpool, which propelled the actor to the stratosphere. It's one of Reynolds' biggest hits of his career, grossing over $781 million worldwide. More importantly, it was also his first major success as a leading man in an action film. Since then, Reynolds has leaned heavily into his Deadpool persona, releasing sequels and starring in calculated productions like Free Guy, which take advantage of his comedic chops. In a 2017 interview with Variety, Reynolds acknowledged his strings of flops and how his streak ended thanks to the Marvel character. He said, "I've navigated those choppy waters. When Deadpool came along, it was a great relief. It was a role I felt we could get right.